The Blue Jays tore through the Yankees like wet toilet paper for much of the ALDS, winning solidly 3-1 while outscoring New York 34-16. As such, everyone was excited to see how their bats would come out of the gate versus a Mariners team that was just one day removed from a 15-inning marathon versus the Tigers. But not only would this contest not turn into the rout some people seemed to think it would, it actually ended up being such a dominating performance from the Mariners pitching staff, and simultaneously an anemic one from the Toronto bats, that it broke a very interesting record, and in a way that wasn't even close. This would, however, not have been anything you'd have expected based on how this game began, as after the Mariners threatened in the first but didn't score when Cal Raleigh was called out on this very close play at home, courtesy of a bit of a lackadaisical tag from Alejandro Kirk, George Springer came up and launched a first pitch home run to right field, an opposite field shot blasted out at nearly 110 miles an hour. Then, to make matters worse, starter Bryce Miller would put 2 guys on with just 1 out on walks immediately after. Just how bad was it going to get? Well, as it turns out, not very, as the righty managed to settle down to retire Kirk and Dalton Varsho back-to-back to end things. This began a run of complimentary pitching back and forth that rivaled what had happened in that previous ALDS game versus Detroit, as each starter traded zeros through the next 4 innings, with starter Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays not allowing the Mariners to get a single base runner in this time, and Miller retiring Toronto's potent lineup with ease inning after inning, never registering more than 11 pitches in any frame in this time, including 3 straight with under 10. This takes us to the 6th, when things got flipped on their head decidedly, as after 2 easy outs, big dumper Cal Raleigh proceeded to crush a 420-foot home run to right field, his second of the playoffs. But Seattle wasn't done yet. Jorge Polanco, on the 7th pitch of a tough at-bat from the switch hitter, would come through to line a single to left field off of Brendan Little, giving his team the lead for the first time on the night. Miller would then hop right back on the mound and be forced to work the most he had since the first, though that wasn't really saying much, only tossing 15 pitches to finish his night with just 76 thrown, 52 of those being strikes, in 6 innings of 1-run baseball. The next inning and a half would not feature runs by either team, though the Mariners would threaten, before, in the 8th, Randy Rosarena walked to start the frame, before stealing second and third base, eventually coming around to score on another clutch knock from Polanco. Gabe Spear, Matt Brash, and Andres Munoz would close this one out with 3 straight scoreless frames with 0 base runners, as Seattle's pitching staff on the night combined to allow just 2 hits, giving up 1 run, while throwing 100 total pitches, as pointed out by Jordan Schusterman on Twitter. This allowed them to do something we had never seen before, at least in terms of recorded history, as pointed out by Sarah Langs, as the M's had 8 pitches or fewer thrown in 6 different innings on the day, 2 more than any other team in a postseason game since at least 2000. For those of you that don't know, when a stat is presented as at least, it's because the data is a bit spotty going back beyond that, making it essentially the official record as far as we know. That meant that simultaneously, the M's had managed to pitch one of the most efficient games in postseason history, along with the Blue Jays registering one of the least stressful offensive performances past the first inning. As it's worth pointing out that 27% of their pitches faced in the entire game came in that bottom of the first. They essentially put 0 pressure on after, so much so that they not only eclipsed the aforementioned record, but did so by multiple frames. Now, before I go, I wanted to give a shout out to Milwaukee for beating the Cubs in an exciting Game 5 of the NLDS that featured dual bullpen games, with both teams executing excellently, only giving up a combined 4 runs. Still, the Brew Crew came away with the victory, and will have some real momentum going into a series versus the defending world champion Dodgers.
Alright everybody, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching, and if you did, consider checking out any of these other videos on your screen right now for other content just like this. Also, if you ever see anything you'd like to see me detail in the video, feel free to reach out to my email, basebpoet@gmail.com, and if I end up using your idea, I'll give you a shout out. Thanks for watching, have a great rest of your day.